Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and buckle up, people, because this we're gonna be covering this November 2025 desktop feature update for Power BI Desktop and that, and it's bananas. All right, like not bananas in a good way or bananas in a bad way, just kind of bananas. It's a bizarre update. There's just some weird stuff about this update that we'll get into here. It's one of the weirder ones I've seen in a long time. Um, but yeah, so I mean, and just to be just to start off with some weirdness, right? This is a blog article that came out like yesterday or the day before, and it's been taken down apparently. And I wish I wouldn't have refreshed this, um, but um, but as you can see from the title here, PBIR will become the default Power BI report format. Get ready for the transition. Right? So basically, what this news article said is that, hey, we're going to make this the enhanced PBIR. That's going to be the only supported version of PBIX files going forward as of like January of 2026. So like just a little over a month away. Um, and maybe that's why they took this blog article down because the timing was bananas. Um, if you think about it, if you have several thousand reports published out in the Power BI service, basically all of them suddenly are unsupported as of January 2026. Because unless you open that report and then save it back or, republish the report from the updated Power BI desktop, it's in the old legacy format, which is an unsupported format, apparently, according to this article, is what it said. Essentially, it's just like, yeah, nothing like making like tens or hundreds of thousands of reports or millions of reports just all unsupported in one fell swoop, right? So maybe that's why this got taken down. I don't know. But that was something that was crazy that happened just recently as well. All right, so back to this November 2025 feature summary. Now we're going to get into it. We got the announcements like Fabric Data Days and FabCon, right? We got the standard Copilot stuff, which I just ignore because if you don't have Fabric, then you can't use it anyway. Um, and most of it's preview, right? So who cares? All right, so now we get into the reporting automatically expand matrix columns to fill available space. So this is the equivalent to what they did with table visuals. Now they fixed it, right? They fixed the bug, right? Because I went out there and tested the table one when it came out in October, and it was and I literally just I resized it one time, and the horizontal scroll bar was there, right? I mean, literally less than 2 seconds it took me to find a bug in the table visual. They fixed it in the November release, and they don't have that bug in the Matrix either. But it got me thinking. It's like, is anyone human actually testing this on the Power BI side? Because literally, I resized the visual one time, right, and I found the bug, and I couldn't get rid of the horizontal scroll bar no matter how many times I tried to resize it in that. So it's like, does the Power BI team actually have any human beings testing and doing quality assurance with their desktop releases? I gotta believe the answer is no, right? The answer has to be no. Otherwise, you find that bug like within 2 seconds. You found that bug. So anyway, I just bananas. All right, so now we get to this card visual, and it's generally available, right? Now, now this is more of they spend all this time talking about, oh, you can do hero images and this and that. And what they don't tell you though is that they've killed off the old card visual and the old multi-card visual, right? And you can see this. Let me get this up here. This is all or nothing. This is well, anyway, this is a whole different thing that I was testing with. We'll get back to this. But you can see here's the new card visual over here, right? And you don't see the old card visual or the old multi-card visual, which used to be there. Let me get it up here. Paint, and then this one. So it used to be right here. There's the old card visual, one, two, three, and then the multi-card visual, right, is on the next line over on the left, right? Those are now gone, right? But it just slipped your mind to tell anybody that was going to happen, right? I mean, and I went back and checked. Yeah, I mean, it's just gone, right? And they don't mention it anywhere in this announcement, right? Nowhere in this announcement do they talk about that the card is going away. And I went back and checked, and They don't announce it like preparing for the general availability of the new card visual. Nowhere in this article do they actually mention that this is happening, right? Nowhere in this article do they mention that they're killing off those card visuals. Now, luckily, I have Life in Europe, which I have the old card visual, right? So I have the old, so they still exist, right? And I have the old multi-card visual is right here. So as you can see, they don't show up here, but they show up, so they're hidden, so they still work, okay? Now I can't fault Microsoft for like using like going this approach in this route where they basically hide the old card visual and the old multi-card visual, right? And they replace it effectively with the new card visual, so you can't create any more of these. But to not bother to like just it's they slip their mind to like inform people about that. That's bananas. That's crazy to me. But that's it. That's what they did. So the new card visuals GA and the old card visuals are gone. They're dead, but they're not forgotten, I guess you could say. Who knew? Now this one's another weird one, like enhancing the image visuals, like, and I could go into a bunch of security things with like, using outside URLs and how much of a security risk it is and all that, but that's always been kind of the case with Power BI. This just makes it more accessible and easier to do. But again, they added for whatever reason, maybe it was to cover up the fact that they were getting rid of a visual. They added the image, this image visual, which is okay, which is you always used to have to go to here, insert image, right? And it's the same thing whether you go and insert image here or insert image here. So are we going to get like over here, we're going to get like a shape visual, quote unquote, and a button visual and a text box visual? Like, are those going to show up over here at some point? I mean, I don't know, right? But I don't know why they would add this. Were they trying to like, oh, we took away two visuals, but we're going to add this visual and this visual, so it will make everything, people won't notice. I don't know. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. But that's the way it goes with these guys. All right, so let's go back to here. All right. Oh boy, too much fun stuff. Preview feature, modeling, right? There's a Power BI modeling NCP. This is for Visual Studio. This is for Visual Studio. Semantic model version. This is only in the service, right? It's not in desktop. So apparently, like modeling in the desktop is dead, right? They're not going to enhance modeling in the desktop at all anymore. It's just going to be stuff for Visual Studio and stuff for the service, which be careful editing your semantic model in the service because there's stuff on r/Microsoft Fabric where if you do that, it blows up and bloats the size of your semantic model to where it can't refresh anymore, right? So there's actually threads on Microsoft Fabric, r/Microsoft Fabric on Reddit about this. So be careful with that. That's not great, right? Spark and Impala connectors generally available. So these have been in the works for a while, and now they're generally available. But I started going back and checking, and I went back, and of course I keep track of all the different. I haven't got November in here, but so back in like October, September, they announced that they were killing off third-party data connectors, right? And they were going to take the development in-house. And I asked the question in one of my recent videos on Power BI News. I was like, is this going to mean that is this going to accelerate data connectivity, or is it going to basically kill it off, right? Seems like it's killing it off, right? Apparently Microsoft doesn't want to do data connectivity in Power BI anymore. Apparently from what I can see, right? Because basically in October they had one thing in data connectivity. It's not even a connector, right? The November version just finished off like two connectors that have been in development for quite a long time. The September version didn't even have any new data connectors, right? But like going back to August, right? There's where the Impala connector was in preview, and then they had another authentication support for the Postgres, uh, database and all of that. And then July, right? They had, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 data connectors that were, created or updated. June, that's in July. In June, you had 3, another 4 in May, right? Another 3 in April. So like when the third party connector stuff was going, it was you were regularly getting many data connectors being updated or released for Power BI. But now that Microsoft, the internal team has taken it over, apparently they've just killed off data connectors. Don't expect very many data connectors, from what I can tell, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to see what the future holds. All right, so now we go back to our fun, and then we get the visualizations, right? And then we get to this one, announcing deprecation of R in Python visuals in embed for your customers. Now, the very first thing about this that's crazy is that originally, like you might think, well, why is general being all, because usually there's an order to this stuff. They have events and announcements, then they have general, then they have co-pilot, then they have reporting, modeling, data activity. There's always an order that they have to this. But now you're looking at this and like, why is general? Well, they wanted to bury this apparently, because originally when they published this article, which this is, I haven't refreshed this. Oh, look where general is, announcing deprecation of R and Python visuals. And this was the first thing I like, noticed and, grabbed a hold of and started looking at. And apparently they don't want people doing that, right? They want to bury the lead, I guess you could say, which is they're getting rid of R and Python visuals and embed for customer solutions. Now, what does that mean? Now you really gotta digest this a little bit. Um, but it's embed for customers, which they kind of like also known as app owns data. So yeah, sort of. And publish the web scenarios. Well, Microsoft team, R and Python visuals have never been supported in publish the web. So this, I don't know why you're including this because they've never been supported in publish the web. So I don't know why you're calling out that, oh, this is going to deprecate them from publish the web. They were never supported there. Um, Now, from what I can say, embed for your customers typically involves a custom app, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't impact customers leveraging secure embeddings. I don't know why they like beat around the bush about all this. From what I can tell, this applies to A SKUs. All right. So for A SKUs, you're embedding, Power BI embedding, you will no longer be able to use R and Python visuals. If you have EM SKUs, basically, where you can kind of embed in SharePoint and Teams and that sort of stuff, then that will be okay, right? You'll still be able to do R and Python visuals. Now, this is going into effect May of next year, right? It ends on May of 2026. This is pretty funny. After this, embedded BI reports or dashboards containing R and Python visuals will still load, but they'll be blank. Well, why load them at all at that point? But anyway, so I guess the first thing I would tell you about this is I would start migrating away from any R or Python visuals in any reports for Power BI, like immediately. Like just go to Deneb, all right? Because one, it's faster. It's probably going to be better looking. And this is obviously a sign to me, like why would they deprecate these in A SKUs, but not in any other SKU? Um, I think it's more of not any other SKU yet. That would be my guess. But that's just my opinion. It's always hard to predict the future. Um, and this is hysterical. I mean, some of the stuff that they come up with. Recommended actions for customers. Plan to update or redesign any affected reports using alternative Power BI visuals or DAX-based analytics. Consider leveraging Fabric notebooks for more sophisticated or technical visualizations. What the hell does that even mean exactly? Because you can't take, to the best of my knowledge, you can't take a visual like from a Fabric notebook and dynamically like include that in an embedded report. Like maybe you can take a screenshot of it and like paste it in as an image or something, but it's not dynamic in any way, the way that like R and Python visual. Like this makes zero sense to me. It's more like, oh, here's a workaround that's worthless, and we don't care actually, like that there's no alternative solution to this, but go figure it out and good luck. Right? This is what this announcement. I mean, just absolutely banana stuff that they have. Just the inaccuracies around talking about publish the web and when it never supported the damn things to begin with, to like creating like a workaround it's worthless. It's a worthless workaround, right? So anyway, that is it. That is it for our November 2025 feature summary. One of the most bizarre, most bananas like desktop updates I've seen in a long, long time. But that's it. That's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.